Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today it's Midweek Magic and they're introducing the Challenger Showcase for all those who were not made aware of what the Challenger decks are. For those of you who have been watching watching some of my videos would probably already be aware because I've already covered each of the Challenger decks, but this one's pretty much a PSA for everyone, so we're just going to play through each of the decks once. It's probably going to be very fast. I will note that we actually lose a lot of the nuance of these decks because we don't have access to the sideboards. And the sideboards are very transformational, and they shore up a lot of weaknesses. For example, everyone says that mono white is probably the best deck among the bunch, and they are not wrong. But take note that a lot of the cards in the sideboard help out a lot, like the double Blood Chief's Thirst, double Ray of Enfeeblement, double Blood Vial Purveyor to create additional roadblocks for our opponent. It allows us to cut, say, the Saw It Comings that are weak. It allows us to cut the Saw It Comings, maybe make adjustments on Hero's Downfall because the mono white build does not run the Wandering Emperor, at least for if we're just talking matchup to matchup. That said, since we're already here, let's go. First the worst. The Dimir Challenger deck, aka Dimir Control, probably the weakest one of the bunch, and I definitely agree. We get away with two mythics. We have two copies of Imrith, but honestly, as far as win cons are concerned, we're kind of a bit in a world of hurt. The only good news of the bunch is that like we get 4 copies of Memory Deluge to help dig for the Crippling Fear if we need to wipe mono white. We have a bunch of removal. In fact, it focuses a lot of removal that I actually feel like the Saw It Coming some are not that strong anymore. The number one thing that we're missing here are the Planeswalkers. Typically, any control deck that has black in it is gonna would feature at least a few copies of Sorin, a few copies of Lot, and for very good reason. It's a lot of value over time. That's pretty much the epitome of control. Without all those, we're pretty much just grinding here. So that said, we're gonna start with this one. I played a few games with it just to get some dailies out. It happened to be a blue-black daily, but all in all, it's not the best deck in the bunch. I would not really recommend it at all. Although for those who are buying it just to scalp for cash, get value, it is the most valuable deck if you have to build it off the secondary market. So that said, we are definitely up against mono white. So this is actually it's very slow, but it's actually a very good keep here. We can answer our opponent's first 3-4 threats. Opponent will automatically have a 1-drop, but the good news with the mono white is that their 1-drops are not the best ones. So we'll see what their 2-drop is. It's probably a Luminarch Aspirant. I'm trying to remember if this deck also generally doesn't have many responses. So Clarion Spirit, okay, that's fine. So we're probably gonna shoot her another blue source because we do have Memory Deluge on standby. And we have to snipe it because that's gonna be value over time. And we don't have a Crippling Fear on standby. Our opponent might have elite. No. This deck doesn't. Oh, it does have Elite Spellbinders. So we're probably going to lose either the Deluge, the Blood and the Snow, or one. If our opponent has multiple creatures left, they might take one of these. Oh, they're taking the Deluge. Actually, not bad. We do have Baleful Mastery, but ideally we pay it at 4 mana. Opponent is hitting their mana while we're slightly delayed. That said, our opponent is not the worst. I might actually still take out Usher because that builds up a lot of tokens over time and we're so behind on mana, it's not funny. So little bit unfortunate that we're missing mana here. We just literally need one more mana of any kind. But that said, we forced our opponent to play a Skyclave Apparition for 0 value. Finally hit the mana. So I'm going to pass and then see if we go Baleful Mastery or Memory Deluge. Because our opponent could be okay, they did not threaten us with Redain, so we're going for the Deluge. We will take Power Word, Kill, and Ice Tunnel here. And we can buy ourselves some time with the Graveyard Trespasser, actually. Start eating some of their stuff. Now our opponent could have another Skyclave Apparition, but it will force them to discard a card, which is actually not bad. If we hit one more mana, we will have access to this Memory Deluge, but I might just Blood on the Snow, especially if our opponent takes out the Trespasser. Opponent goes Monk. They have a Skyclave Apparition. Oh no, Kabira Takedown. And to discard another Kabira Takedown. So taking a little bit of damage here. Okay, so unfortunately it's an Ice Tunnel. But opponent actually knows we're gonna Blood in the Snow next turn. So we're just literally buying time here. Our opponent could easily have another Talia. Sure, that's fine. Because that's what we're sniping. We're gonna take it, so we're gonna snipe the Talia. Take this. Technically, we can also just give them a card, but I won't. We've got them this empty-handed at this point, so yeah, just destroy all creatures, and we get back our Graveyard Trespasser and start eating their board. Oh wait, we could have targeted another card. Oops, I forgot. But it should more or less be solid. Paladin class, a little bit late to the party. So definitely attacking. This time we're gonna eat 2 cards properly. So now we can either Memory Deluge or Baleful Mastery as needed. We can actually no, no, we can still the Memory Deluge. Okay, we're Memory Deluging. So we'll take the Saw It Coming's gonna cost a lot. I might just take a Graveyard Trespasser and the Hullbreaker Horror. Though the Hullbreaker Horror is probably the weirdest card in the bunch. Yeah, and that should spell it for our opponent. So now there is a caveat on this one. I'm gonna wait for our opponent to attack, so that leaves them with only 3 mana. So have a card. But yeah, that's it. So I did say that the blue-black Dimir control deck is basically the worst one. The one caveat is that while it is the worst one, it is the best one to answer the mono-white one if we're just matching up Challenger deck versus Challenger deck. And that's even pre-sideboard. I did not include post-sideboarding tech as well. However, if we're talking about the future of um, I'm building these up for future use, I probably would choose something else. That said, we took the Dimir control. We're gonna take Rakdos Vampires next. This one is if I were to put these guys in the tier list, Gruul, Stompy, and Rakdos Vampires would be near each other. Rakdos Vampires is probably one of the weirder ones. I should show you guys why, since I don't think you guys would have necessarily watched my videos. It has the most integration of teams. We get 4 copies of Voltage Surge, thanks to between the Epicure, the Bloodcaster, Oni Cult Anvil, Blood Tide Harvester. We're gonna have plenty of artifacts. So this one's essentially a 4 damage removal spell. Blood Tide Harvester, also a very good removal spell. The Bloodcaster gives us a lot of reach over time. Anvil gives us some extra value. Pretty much our main end game is going to be landing a huge Immerstrom Predator. That said, I feel like a lot of the extra value is on the sideboard here. Not the Falcon Rat Forebears. I don't actually find these guys to be that useful. This is kind of a dud build. But the extra Infernal Grasp, the extra Abrades, the Juresis are very nice. Anja, Maid of Dishonor, actually feels like it could easily be main deckable. I would argue that the reason they put it in the sideboard is because they want to have a really aggro curve. Although for really aggro curve, I would argue maybe more Vampire Socialites. Because the 1-2 punch is there. And interesting to see that Voldaren Epicure actually beats out Falcon Rat Pitfighter, but that's actually kind of correct in most cases. So we definitely got the good start. He also got the Singleton Village Rights. So opponent on Gruul Stompy, a little late to the part, but they might go straight for the Ranger class. Actually, not too awkward. I could just pop this right away, but I suspect our opponent's gonna have a bigger threat later down the line. So I'm actually gonna... I could also just play the Blood Tide Harvester, get it out of the way. Yeah, let's just play the Blood Tide Harvester. If our opponent wants to grow this, we have the blood tokens to... cash in. Most likely our opponent plays a 3-drop. Or could snipe the Harvester, which is not a braid. Yep. But it does give us an incentive to swing into Vampire Socialite. Having the pathways is very good for us here. And nope, don't play it yet. We haven't dealt damage yet. Now it's a shame they could not give us a Deadly Dispute. Although Deadly Dispute is only sacrifice treasure, so not gonna miss out on some value there. Let's see if our opponent could easily land Halana Elena. That's one of the 4-drops. Our big concern is when they land 6-drop. So they're just going off on the Ranger class. We will play Voldaren. Hold on. As long as you lost opponent, each vampire you control enters... Okay, let's swing first. In fact, I'm going to offer the trade. Yep, opponent does not. So we can play Voldaren Bloodcaster. And we can hold up both Village Rights and Voltage Surge. Opponent does have this one, so they could have the... Okay, Halana Elena is fine. I think they have a Tameo Safekeeping, which might be an issue. Nope, they don't. So we have Village Rights if we need to, but we're more likely going to just swing. Yeah, have your Tree Wolf. I could trade, but nah, not a very great use for that. But this is now when we trade. Get ourselves a blood token. Get ourselves some more cards. Play another Voldaren Bloodcaster. Play the Den to start going aggro. We can sack a blood token later. Although with this many Bloodcasters, it's not unheard of to be able to... Okay, so we're gonna lose one Bloodcaster. But that's actually fine. We get 2 blood tokens in the process, so... We have to remember that this does have reach though, so... Opponent not gonna swing, which is actually correct. I'm tempted to just find a way to get this one to die so we can get our 5th blood token, but... It only transforms it and we only get the stuff at start of combat. I think we're better off just packing one in right now. Yeah, you just gotta land. That was not worth it. Soul Ripper's interesting, but it's a bit late to the party. Taking a little bit of a risk here. I'm gonna go Den of the Bugbear. That should... But this is also non-token, so the Goblin that swings is not gonna generate value. I could swing at the Vampire Socialite to let it die, but that feels really bad. I could swing with the Socialite, so this would die at least. Interesting conundrum. Oh, we're not planning to block anytime soon. I could have also swung with this one to threaten lethal, but we know how they're gonna block. That's fine. So opponent goes down to 3, we make another token. I can ditch the Soul... I probably will ditch the Soul Ripper here. Opponent has Uvenwald Oddity. Wait a minute, I don't remember Oddity being in the main deck. Did they actually adjust this? Hold on, I'm gonna double check this one. I don't remember this one being in the main deck at all. That said, Twin Shot Sniper is still our big threat here. So I'm actually not gonna cash in. Hey, got Voldaren Epicure. And there, that's it. So I can activate this if I want to, but as soon as I convert one of these, it's over. Yeah, opponent sees it already. So we actually you actually get enough blood tokens to flip it. And actually, now's a good time to look at the Gruul Stompy one. I don't remember Uvenwald Oddity being in the deck list at all. Did they change it? Cause if Uvenwald Oddity was available, I would kill for that. So there are 3 copies of Uvenwald Oddity. Tovolar. Did I make a mistake in the deck list before? Let me take a look. It's gonna be just very quick. Yeah, I should just look at... Let's look at the... Because, okay, my version of the Gruul Challenger, I already made one mistake by putting the Tovolar main. Oh no, there was the Uvenwald Oddity. Did I just never draw it the whole time? Well... The funny things your memory does to you. But oh yeah, now's a good time for me to address the elephant in the room, so to speak. So in the Challenger showcase, we have Gruul Stompy over here. Let's actually take a quick look on that. So the primary goal here is to get ideally it's get a very quick shot of mana. Normally it's the Sentinel Outlaw plan. We kind of have a middle game with Tracker, Twin Shot Sniper. Actually, very good addition here. But the idea is to hit your 4 and 5, 6 drops. The Uvenwald Oddities, Halana Alena, Goldspan Dragon, Tovolar's Huntmaster. We kind of get to buy some time between the Thundering Rebuke, Snakeskin Veil. But you ideally keep an opening hand with Jaspera Sentinel and a 2-drop. The dream drop is Sentinel Outlaw. Out from the sideboard... very interesting sideboard choices. The Burning Hands set was kind of made for mono green, as if it was still as if it's still a deck today. It actually still is, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside. Everyone's now playing the enchantments deck these days, or at least some form of Celestia mid-range. Actually, in that case, Burning Hands is kind of good. It does hit Yasharn. Questionable additions would be like the Kappa Tech Wrecker, which can buy back Twin Shot Sniper, but let's be honest, we're not swinging with that. And the Frog Hemot, also a bit of a shame there. But that said, the main deck at least is solid, so we're gonna take a quick look at this one, see how it goes. Not too confident. I do rank this one higher up on the list because it's much closer to what would be a meta deck, even if I'm considering meta decks from last year. But several weird choices. The one mistake I made was having Tovolar, not forgetting to put the Tovolar's Huntmaster, but in reality, if you were to play this out of the box, before you start game 1, I would take sub out the Huntmaster, sub in the actual Tovolars. You kind of need the mid-range, you kind of need the card draw. Ranger's class is actually a very good combo there. Speaking of which, why did I keep this hand? I have the 1, but I don't have the number 2, although I do have some removal to buy us some time. And again, mono white staring us right in the face. We'll play mono white last. Oh wow. We're still waiting for our opponent to decide if they want to keep, or if they want to clutch or kick. I definitely kept, although I probably should have thought more about this. But having double mid-range cards is not the end of the world here. The worst thing we could do is at least give ourselves a 2/3 reach creature. It's actually in the sense that the Twin Shot Snipers actually give us quite some good value as well. Though we'll see when it gets there. The good news is we can pretty much snipe our opponent's early game. So we're knocking on wood that we get the 2-drop. If not, I will accept the land. Opponent goes, well, of course they're gonna go snow-covered plains. Okay, we got the land, so we got the consolation prize. So we now have the upgrade for whatever they have. We have to remember that this mono white build actually runs some copies of Kabira Takedown. Yeah, sure. Now, an interesting thing is I'm probably not going to attack with the Jespera Sentinel. Let's see how familiar our opponents are with our deck list. Now, of course, our opponent could easily just have, okay, Clarion Spirit. Probably a Monk. Okay, not bad. Nice early start. Now, I can swing at the tracker. Our opponent can just block with all 4. Go for it. If our opponent blocks with just 3 cards, I will Snakeskin Veil. Although there isn't... Okay, opponent's actually just taking, so... Now, the interesting thing to note is that we probably want to save at least 1 clue. We can't just cash both of them in. Luminarch Aspirant into a Paladin class. Well, it's not... Okay, not the end of the world because we can just tap the Sentinel for mana if need be. Let's see how our opponent goes. Oh, they're going there. Let's see how our opponent swings. They don't swing. Okay. Clue crack. Okay, but this is not a good time to be... Oh, wow, so flooded. This is not funny. Okay. So we probably would lose this. That's actually an interesting note also. Not much land selection. So, opponent goes 3. I might be forced to crack the clue. I will definitely crack the clue if we hit another... If we hit another land. Oddly enough, Ranger class is actually a very good fit here. We Intrepid Adversary. So these two guys become a problem. Oh no, they're going for the second spell tech. Fateful Absence. I'm actually gonna just crack this, see if... Because we're about to get another clue anyway. Okay, not bad. So we can now go Uvenwald Oddity and start threatening to bash. Although ideally I just played the Oddity because we are so close to hitting the mana. Opponent is really playing conservatively. Oh, we're just swimming in mana. It's not funny. So we're going to wait for that one more turn. There's an argument now for cracking the clue token, but also there is a chance that we might hit a fail case if... I think with our opponent looking at the Paladin class, we're just going to go for the go wide. Sure, go ahead, go wide. If our opponent swings with Adversary, I will block with Briar Bridge. Same with Clarion Spirit, I will block that. Oh no, they're not. Okay. Got ourselves another Sentinel. So I can make this an 8/8. I can make it Trample Haste. You're gonna need to block more cards. That's 2, 4, 6... Okay. That was a weird flex. Okay, our opponent might have the Skyclave Apparition now, but we did clear the board, so I will take that consolation prize there. We are still in trouble. Don't get me wrong. But now we can take the hit. We are free to crack this clue now. There's our other Snakeskin Veil. A little bit late to the party. Tovolar's Huntmaster is actually good. And we're gonna hold back here for obvious... Well, opponent didn't give us a reason to... Opponent now super incentivized to cast a spell. There's a Talia, so now we can't Snakeskin Veil anymore. Into an Elite Spellbinder. So we'll probably lose Snakeskin Veil here. But they're not exactly free to... Also, not exactly free to swing either. Although we are going to take a lot of damage up top if we're not careful. I probably don't want... I don't want to swing yet. Because it's probably just going to eat... It's just going to eat one random creature. I could swing with these, but it's no use. So I'm actually going to just pass. We're just going to chump block with Jaspera Sentinel in this case. Yeah, opponent concedes. Yeah, it looks like the Huntmaster was going to get through. They know we have a Snakeskin Veil, so we could easily pump it. I was going to get wolf tokens for days at that point. Very interesting. This might this be the video where I I play all the not the best deck first, and then when I go to play the best deck, I lose. We'll see. It actually shows that the best deck is not always the best. But that said, it has the most explosive potential start, so we have to aim for that. The good news is they gave us 3 elite spellbinders. They also gave us a few Talias and the full playset of Luminarch as aspirant. They only gave us 2 Skyclave apparitions, 0 brutal Catars. Redain, this one's pretty much a knock against the Dimir control deck, but that's all it does. Although the Valkmira's side can buy a lot of time. That said, this really is a sideboard card. Speaking of sideboard card, actually, a lot of the cards in the sideboard I probably would main deck first. The Qatar Commando, maybe not, but the Loyal Warhound, especially, definitely a very good sideboard in, especially if you won the first game, you're going second. Selfless Samurai, not very interesting. It is a good substitute for Selfless Savior. Sun Gold Sentinel, nah. The Maul of the Skyclaves actually can get wins out of nowhere. But that said, very hard to evaluate this deck. Actually, everyone says that Mono White is supposedly the best, but I would argue that this version of Mono White is not that high powered. That it's not high powered enough, and you're missing out a lot. Take note: we don't have Aiganjo, we don't have Wandering Emperor. We're losing a lot of power on the board here. And Codespell Cleric is kind of awkward as well. That said, I will keep this one. Opponent is going for a Gruul Stompy, so I can just cast this one turn 1 for some advantage, but I might just go for either. Okay, I'm gonna hold the Fateful Absence. If not, I'll just drop Redain. Ranger class. Again, because we have no Brutal Qatar, that's something to consider. Let's get into Clue. I don't feel good about doing this though. I know they have bigger threats. And this does not delay anything on our opponent's side of the board, which is the most awkward part. We're just hoping that our opponent has a very slow... Okay, Jaspera Sentinel now is super awkward. I'm going to display the Skyclave Apparition. Let's just clear out as many roadblocks as possible. Maybe give our opponents something else to hit with their Abrade. Yeah, they're gonna Abrade that. That's fine. And we go Codespell Cleric. We probably just stack it on the... We'll probably just stack it on the Codespell Cleric because we remember that this green-red has a full play set of Abrade. We're probably gonna lose this match now. Opponent has to Uvenwald Oddity. Definitely not gonna block. It's tempting to hold this back though, so actually that's what we're going to do. Because we can threaten a double block with Faceless Haven and the Codespell Cleric, although our opponent can just Abrade in response. Opponent might also hit their Goldspan Dragon now, which is... Okay, no, just Parasentinel's fine. So they're gonna hit us with a 5/5 Oddity. Or not. Wow, super defensive, my man. Now I have to be careful on how I stack this. Because I definitely want to pay 2, but our opponent's clearly holding up an Abrade. Nah, let's just pay 2. I'm not... They can... If they... Now I could swing with this one, just kind of give it up. Let's see if they have a blocker for it. Yeah, I'd rather they get rid of it now. So let's see, do they have the Abrade? Nope, just a block. Nope, they do have the Snakeskin Bill. Okay, not an Abrade though. I can accept that actually. Opponent's kind of flooding, though. Nope, they just needed the Tovolar Soundmaster. So this is actually the point where we do lose. I will also note that our opponent is 1 mana away from... So, 1, 2, and probably 3. At least give ourselves enough gas to at least block the Huntmaster. Opponents kind of run out the gas on their end as well. They could just crack this clue token because they... Well, they might have a Tireless Tracker. Nope. Another Uvenwald Oddity. Okay, kind of swimming in. So if I swing... So if I can swing with Adversary... No, actually here, the safest one is to swing with Codespell Cleric. It will definitely take out something on our opponent's side, even without the +X+X. We need to keep doing this one at a time. Also note that our opponent has already 7 mana, so but at least taking out that one oddity is not so bad. Yeah, we unfortunately did not have anything to cast, so we're actually going to lose to this pack leader. So there is an argument that with enough removal, pack leader can... I'm actually going to just take it. I'm actually also surprised our opponent didn't just pump this either. But yeah, we're not going to win this game. Especially when they're with a full powered ranger class, I'm getting more cards out from the middle of the live. Finally hit their mat though. But yeah, mono white might be overrated here. Although we can at least save ourselves a little damage by sniping the oddity. So if I swing with Intrepid Adversary, our opponent will have to block with a lot. If I swing with Skyclave Apparition, they don't have to block with as much. I could also just swing with Faceless Haven just to simplify things, but I kind of want to save it for later. I don't mind giving them the token at this point. Yeah, we need to pressure our opponent with the double strike. Unfortunately, I also cannot... Because they only have so many wolves. Okay, they're just gonna chump block, which is kind of fine by me. We are still staring down a large Tovolar's Huntmaster, but we don't exactly have much of a choice here. Yeah, tap, make a treasure. They might as well crack some clues at this point. But yeah, Tovolar's... Well, let's see. I will argue that if this is... You're going up against a real mono-white deck, you will never have the time to cast Tovolar's Huntmaster. Halana Alena to ruin your day. Although we have enough beef on the backside that the problem is our opponent can just dump 2 counters here. It will give it first strike. No, it just gives it haste. But our opponent is now loaded for bear. We're not going to be able to keep up here. Not good. But you know what? We also note that these are only 2 Skyclave Apparitions. Although I would say it's interesting our opponent decided to load it up here. Oh yeah, that's because it's... You know what? We'll take. Maybe we could hit another adversary. Luminarch Aspirant actually is a good hit here. Now our opponent can still overload the board, but at this point we kind of need to make them wipe. We kind of need to wipe it clean. No, we're not giving this up. Again, our opponent can just chump block with the wolf. But at least this time we're going to start gaining some life in the process. Although, it's going to come to a point where the Briar Bridge Tracker is going to overrun us here. But we do need to have one hit where we get some life back. We might have to chump one of the lands down. And yeah, our opponent is 3 cards up. Incidentally, a lot more card draw here than mono white, so, well, which makes perfect sense. Also highlights how Faceless Haven is actually not... Well, this is still the original 4-3, this is not the alchemy version, but... I guess if... So let's see where our opponent stacks it on the 9-9. Now note that because this is not flipped, ooh, opponent going for it. So I do need to block 2 cards. Oh, this is actually a 7-6. Hold on. So I can. Yeah, I'm just gonna block it like this. Our opponent could have another Abrade. I'm half expecting it at this point. No Abrade. Okay. But yeah, with the board so loaded, we really... And a twin shot sniper to snipe the Faceless Haven. Could be worse. They could have sniped anything else. And yeah, we're just flooded there. We can concede this one now. We kind of got overloaded. That's it. It does show us that maybe mono white not the best by a mile away. It's probably the most familiar for most people to use because the earlier starts are kind of there, but we are missing a lot of value cards here. I will also note that as far as mono white goes, I think we're also missing March of Otherworldly Light, which has kind of replaced a lot of the removal choices here. And yeah, the second spell, it does give you a fast aggro. It punishes people who keep really bad hands, but if your opponent doesn't have a bad hand and has enough removal, you're the one that's actually getting punished by keeping that. But there you go. Those are the different challenger decks. I will also include a link in the description of the different of my takes on the challenger decks, how I ran them through traditional standard, how I got to test out their sideboard, what worked, what did not work. And well, my initial thoughts kind of coincide with everyone's accepted line of thinking in this with regards to these decks. Maybe it's not all that perfect as it seems. You're just gonna have to figure it out for yourself. That's gonna be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.